They say it began with light, not the light of dawn, nor the warmth of a rising sun, but a deeper glow that pulsed from the heart of the earth. It shimmered beneath the waves, humming with power, whispering to those who dared to listen. Atlantis heard it first. The island was a crown upon the ocean, radiant with towers of crystal and stone. Its people were brilliant, fearless, and endlessly curious. They called their discovery the breath of Poseidon, a living energy drawn from the soul of the planet itself. It became their light, their warmth, their pride, and their undoing. Atlantis thrived beyond imagination. Bridges of glass arched over golden canals. Markets shimmered with music and color. Ships drifted through the sky, powered not by wind, but by will. The Atlanteans believed they had mastered nature itself. For centuries, they lived in harmony, building temples to wisdom and art. But as their power grew, so did their arrogance. The kings saw themselves not as rulers, but as gods. They spoke of dominion over land and sea. They began to shape storms, command tides, and twist the very breath that once sustained them. Among them was a philosopher named Alien. He studied the patterns of the earth, the rhythm of its heartbeat, the songs hidden beneath the waves. He warned the council that balance was failing. The breath, he said, was not meant to be controlled. It was meant to be honored. But his words fell like stones into silence. The high priests called him a heretic. The scholars mocked him as fearful of progress. Still, Alien felt the earth trembling beneath his feet. The songs of the deep were turning into cries. The first signs came quietly. Birds no longer migrated over the island. The fish vanished from the harbors. The tides began to rise and fall with unnatural fury. The skies darkened in strange spirals of light. Yet the people of Atlantis continued their festivals, blind to the shifting sea. The priests assured them that all was well, that the gods had blessed their power. But deep below the palace, the great crystal core, the heart of their energy, began to crack. The hum of the earth turned into a roar. When the end began, it was not with thunder, but with silence. The winds stopped. The sea stilled. The stars seemed to fade. Then the ground shuddered, splitting open like a wound. Light erupted from the depths, a blinding, beautiful terror. Towers swayed, bridges fell, and the ocean began to rise. The people screamed for the gods, but none answered. The machines of light sparked and died. The air turned to flame. Alien watched from the cliffs, tears carving paths through ash. He knew the earth was reclaiming what had been stolen. The waves came like mountains. They devoured the harbors, crushed the ships, and swallowed the temples whole. The crystal heart beneath the palace shattered with a sound like the breaking of time. Light burst upward, splitting the clouds in two. The ocean rose higher than the towers of Atlantis, wrapping the island in its arms. And in one breath, the city of gods became a memory beneath the sea. Alien's final words were carried by the wind before the water took it. The earth is not our servant, it is our mother. When the sea calmed, nothing remained but silence. The waves rolled over ruins now hidden beneath miles of water. The breath of Poseidon was gone, buried with the dreams of a civilization that reached too far. Yet the ocean still glowed faintly at night, a soft pulse of blue deep within the abyss. Some say it was the last heartbeat of Atlantis. Others say it was the Earth's way of remembering. Either way, the world above forgot, and the name of Atlantis faded into myth. Generations passed. Empires rose and fell. Stories became legends, then whispers. Sailors spoke of lights beneath the sea, of echoes that answered their calls. Philosophers dreamed of a lost city that once touched the stars. But the truth of Atlantis was never lost. It was only waiting. Waiting in the depths, where time slows and memory breathes. Waiting for humanity to listen once more to the pulse of the earth. Some say that pulse still beats, beneath our oceans, beneath our feet, beneath our pride. But not all believe Atlantis perished by chance. Some ancient scrolls speak of a secret brotherhood, the keepers of the deep. They saw the danger before it came. They knew that mankind would destroy itself in pursuit of power. So when the crystal began to fracture, they acted. They sealed the core, called upon the sea, and let the ocean reclaim their world. Their sacrifice was not born of fear, but of mercy. They buried Atlantis so that humanity might begin again. Their names were forgotten, but their choice shaped all that came after. Even now, the ocean guards that choice. When explorers descend too far, when submarines venture where they shouldn't, strange things occur. Lights flicker, compasses spin, machines lose their way. Some say it's magnetic disturbance, others know better. They say it's the breath, warning us once more. They say the earth remembers when it was betrayed, and sometimes, in the dark silence of the deep, a whisper rises through the water, not in anger, but in sorrow. The Fall of Atlantis is not merely the tale of a drowned empire, it is a reflection of us. Every age builds its towers, its machines, its dreams of dominion. Every age forgets the cost. We reach higher, consume faster, and call it progress. But the same fire that warms us can also burn us. The same knowledge that frees us can destroy us. Atlantis stands as a mirror, showing what happens when wisdom is replaced by hunger, when reverence becomes conquest, when creation turns to control. And yet, not all hope was lost. Some believed Atlantis was reborn in fragments, its spirit scattered among future civilizations. They saw its light in the pyramids, its music in forgotten temples, its vision in the eyes of dreamers who reached for the stars. The breath, they said, could never die. It simply changed form. The pulse of Atlantis became the heartbeat of humanity itself, a reminder that even in loss, there is memory. Even in ruin, there is renewal. Today, the world stands at a familiar edge. Our cities gleam like those of old. Our machines hum with energy drawn from the depths of the earth. We speak of progress, of endless growth, of conquest among the stars. But the winds are shifting again. The seas are rising. The earth trembles beneath our feet. The echoes of Atlantis grow louder with every storm. We have learned to create wonders, but have we learned to listen? Have we learned to live in balance with the world that gives us life? Somewhere beneath the Atlantic, a faint hum still stirs the water. Scientists call it an anomaly, a pulse that no instrument can explain. But to those who remember, it is something else, the heartbeat of a promise, a reminder that what we destroy, we also destroy within ourselves. The earth is patient, but it is not silent. It waits for us to remember that power is not control. It is connection. And when we forget that, the sea reminds us. Atlantis was never truly lost. It lives within us, in our ambition, our brilliance, and our blindness. It lives in every skyscraper that touches the clouds, in every machine that hums beneath the earth. It lives in our desire to reach heaven, even as we forget the ground. Atlantis is not a myth of the past. It is a prophecy of the present. The question is not whether it existed. The question is whether it will happen again. But perhaps the end was never punishment. Perhaps it was mercy, a cleansing not to destroy, but to reset. To give humanity another chance to find balance before it was too late. The ocean did not rise in anger. It rose in love, to cradle what could not yet stand. And in that silence beneath the waves, Atlantis became a seed. A seed of wisdom waiting for the day we would grow enough to hear its truth again. The fall of Atlantis was not the death of a people, but the birth of a lesson. A lesson written in water, echoed in thunder, remembered in every tide that meets the shore. It whispers still. Remember who you are. Remember what you serve. Remember that the earth is alive, and it remembers too. And one day, when we have learned, the sea may part once more, not to destroy, but to reveal, not to punish, but to forgive. And when that day comes, Atlantis will rise again, not as a city of power, but as a symbol of harmony, a vision of what we were meant to be, a reminder that we were never gods, only guardians. For the light that once doomed us can also save us if we learn to see it with humble eyes. The ocean sleeps, but it dreams of balance. And somewhere, deep below, the breath of Poseidon waits, patient, eternal, and alive. Because perhaps Atlantis was never lost at all. Perhaps it still lives within the rhythm of every wave, every heartbeat, every spark of wonder that calls us to look beyond ourselves. Perhaps it waits not to be found, but to be understood. And maybe, when we finally are, the world will remember the song of the deep, and we will rise again, not as conquerors, but as children of the same earth that gave us life.